Biggest thing I forgot to mention in this video is dynos can be manipulated to seem like you're getting more power and you're not. They can also be manipulated to seem like you're getting less power than what you are. It's all in weights and a drum and settings on the machine. So definitely be careful of dyno hype because they can be manipulated very, very easily to say almost anything you want them to say. Be careful. Make sure you trust the source that it comes from because they can and will be manipulated. There always seems to be a debacle about clutches, dynos, tire sizes, race teams, who has the best, what is the best, how is it the best. We're going to debunk some of that stuff today. Don't mind all the dirt. We're going to debunk some of that stuff today. So first on the list, we want to talk about dynos. Why are dynos important? What do they do? And how do they actually help you design a clutch kit? Well, the simple answer is dynos don't do anything. They do. They're just a tool is all they are. So, if you, let's say you want to use a dyno, it's going to help you see what changes are being made to make power that makes less power. But the downside to dynos, and I know this is argued everywhere, but I'm going to debunk it all today, as well as go into talking about some of these clutches and setups and different things, and everything is different. A dyno, 99% of the dynos out there, they have a what's called dyno tires. And it's a specific set of tires that they mount up to machines. And basically what they are, they're kind of like a road tire. They're not super tall, they're not aggressive, they're smooth, and they do this so they don't tear up the dyno. So let's say your dyno guy has a dyno, and he's running 27-inch tires on a Z-Force 950, okay? Even a Razor. They do the same thing with the Polaris's, the Can-Ams, anything that's being dynoed. If it has an aggressive tire on it, they take that aggressive tire off and put on a smoother, less aggressive tire. Usually it's a lighter tire, not because they chose a lighter tire, but because the tire is smaller, etc., and it has smoother tread patterns, so it will not mess up the dyno drum, because those are expensive and companies don't want to do that. So let's say they have a 27-inch tire and they have wheel adapters and everything, this and that, where they can put that same tire on all kinds of different makes and models and brands of machines, ATVs and UTVs. They use that one tire, they put the machine on the dyno stock, and we're talking about a Z-Force 950. Let's say it's putting 70 horsepower to the wheels with those 27-inch tires. Well, it comes stock with 27-inch tires. So, 27. Now the HO comes with 29s, etc., etc. You guys get the drift. What happens is they run that with the stock tire, and then they start making ECU changes, clutch changes, and the dyno will show what makes the best changes. It doesn't end there. You still need to take it out and field test it. You should have, most tuners, they have what's called a race logic, or there's other apps and other programs that do the same thing. There's even an app that you can download on your phone to do different things with, and it will tell you your 0 to 60 time, how long it took you to get there, how many feet you went, and how many seconds it took you to do your feet. You can climb hills and it will time you from the bottom to the top of the hill. It will tell you all kinds of stuff. It uses your phone and all the little gadgets inside your phone to measure that, and GPS and all that stuff. They're pretty, I wouldn't say they're 100% accurate, but they help. Trust me. We use those apps when we're out running and testing different kits with different tire sizes. We use FLIR gun. We have a FLIR gun to check belt temp and clutch temp and all that stuff. Am I saying a dyno is a bad thing? No, I'm not. But what I am saying is too many people get mixed up into the dyno stuff. A dyno is not an end-all be-all. It is simply a tool that is no different than a ratchet or a socket or a wrench or a screwdriver. It is just a tool. It's not going to, what a dyno doesn't do, and I know this is highly argued, but it's truth, and I'm going to debunk it. So the truth of it is, a dyno does not do real world testing. And here comes the comments. These are where the comments come in and tell me that I'm wrong and I don't know what I'm talking about and all this stuff. So a dyno does not account for hilly terrain, wet terrain. It doesn't account for two people being in your unit. It doesn't account for luggage. It doesn't account for snow. It doesn't account for plowing. It doesn't account for your tire size. It doesn't account for a lot of things. And I know you're going to argue and say, well, redneck, if you have this dyno, blah, 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 axis or whatever it may be, this dyno does account for that by using weights in the drum. No, it's not the same thing. It can get you similar close. And also, people are going to tell you that X dyno, they blow air across the machine. This is the biggest one. This is the biggest one that I see, and it drives me nuts because they say, well, redneck, they have that tunnel and they can account for a 70-mile-an-hour wind and this because it blows air across the machine. Okay, sit and think about it. If you have a machine that is sitting still on a dyno and you're blowing 70-mile-an-hour wind across it, what is that telling you? Nothing. It's telling you nothing because you do not have, your machine isn't trying to move in that wind. It is not doing anything in that wind. It is sitting there. It's no different than your machine sitting there and a tornado coming by and blowing it over, okay? Now, yes, I know the drum is what pushes that air, okay? The drum has a fan in it. It pushes that air, it keeps the machine cool while it's on the dyno, and it supposedly does wind drag. No, it really don't. Because the thing of it is, it's moving a little fan that's going through a little blower tube, and they're accounting for the drag that's in the drum. The power of the wheels is turning the drum, which is taking power. That's true, it is, and it's blowing wind across you. Now, one thing you're not accounting for is windshields, roofs, anything on your machine that can cause wind drag, okay? They test airplanes in wind tunnels to see drag and lift. We're not flying, okay? That's different. You're getting drag and lift, and they have different ways of doing that. They also test race cars in a wind tunnel so they can see where the drag is coming from and if the car tries to lift, etc., etc. This doesn't fall under none of that category, and the wind coming out of that turbo does not do anything of the sorts other than add drag to the wheels. Now, you turn, let's say that drum weighs 1,000 pounds in that dyno. Your wheels are trying to turn that 1,000 pounds. That is drag. That is a load. Yes, it is going to load down the engine. You want load. That's good. That's going to help you tune because an engine don't run at its best in neutral. It runs at its best when it's under load. So think of an engine like an air pump. Air in, air out. That's what it is. It's an air compressor. That's all it is. So with the dyno, people get it all mixed up and don't really know exactly what they're talking about with a dyno. And people get, you know, hey, dyno this, dyno that, dyno. The only thing you hear nowadays is dyno, okay? A dyno is not an end-all be-all, and do not make decisions based on dyno results. And I'm gonna tell you why. We just discussed about the wind and the drag. It just doesn't work. It's not what it does. It does add load to the engine, but it doesn't add wind drag. Your machine, when you're trying, let's say your machine weighs 1,300 pounds, or 1,400 pounds. Let's say 1,400 pounds, stock, bone dry, empty fuel tank. It weighs 1,400 pounds. You get a full tank of gas, that adds up. You got a fat guy like me in there. Maybe you got two fat guys like me in there. That adds up. That's 600 pounds easy, 700 pounds easy. And then cargo and all this stuff. So now your machine is trying to move all of that weight. It's not sitting on a dyno in place, not moving, not struggling. You are in a trail trying to climb a hill. So let's get into clutching on a dyno. When you take and you set a clutch kit up on a dyno, remember, it's not accounting for you have 33-inch tires. No, because the dyno, they're running a 27-inch tire, maybe even a 28-inch tire. They're not going super big on the tires. They're keeping them more realistic to stock. So they set up a kit on the dyno, and let's say stock is putting 70 horsepower to the wheels. We're not even going to talk torque. That's for a whole other video. We're just going to talk horsepower. Let's say it's putting 70 horsepower to the wheels with a stock kit with those dyno tires. Okay. You adjust in a clutch kit. No, now all of a sudden you got 80 horsepower to the wheels. Maybe you got 85 horsepower to the wheels. That's a good gain if you got it. Now take that side by side out, put your 30s on it or your 32s on it, take it out in the trail, and see if it performs as good in the trail as it did on the dyno. It's probably not. Now I'm going to tell you why. When you go up or down in tire size, it's like going up or down in gear ratios. So when you do that, you need to adjust your clutch for your tire size. Okay? You also need to adjust your clutch for your riding style. So let's say this part here, we put it in a secondary, stock secondary. We put this helix in there. We got our primary. See our primary, right? And then let's say we changed our weights. We changed our spring, put our spring in there, got the primary all set up in the machine. That kit there with dyno tires, 27, 28, we'll say 28s, it's putting 85 horsepower to the ground. You take that out with your, if you got stock tires, it'll probably perform okay. It still ain't gonna be the best, but it'll probably perform okay. But let's say you put your 30s, 31s, 32s, 33s, whatever it is you put back on there. Well, now what you just did is all out of whack. It's all messed up. So now you're trying to put 80, 85 horsepower to the ground. Now your clutches aren't shifting properly because that dyno didn't account for your big tires. It didn't account for that big hill you want to climb. It didn't account for that mud hole you want to go into. It didn't account for your buddy in your passenger seat. It didn't account for the wind drag on your windshield, the wind drag on your light bar, the wind drag on your whips, the wind drag on your big old speakers you got hanging off the back. It didn't account for any of that stuff. But that's why I said a dyno is a tool, and it is only a tool. You can get something dialed in where it's performing pretty good on the dyno. Now you got to go drive it. You're going to put your tires back on it. Now you're going to want to make adjustments to get that thing performing the way it should. Nothing that comes off the dyno is ready to hit the racetrack, is ready to hit the trails. Nothing. If you just stick it straight on a dyno and pull it straight off the dyno and take it to the trails, you're going to find an awful lot wrong with it, because now you're in different load scenarios and you're doing different things than just sitting in one spot on a dyno with a loaded drum under the wheels. Now you actually have some real load and real drag, so now you got to fine tune it. Once you fine tune it, let's say you could take it back to the dyno with your 30s on it. You're going to find that you lost 6 horsepower out of that 80 that you just, well, if you took it from 70 to 80, that's only 10 horsepower. Let's say you ended up losing 6 horsepower out of that 10 that you just gained. Well, you still gained, you did still gain, but now it performs better. And I'm just throwing numbers. These aren't exact numbers. I'm just throwing numbers out there to get you guys to understand changing clutching and watching all these people with all these comments, dyno this, dyno that, dyno results this, dyno results that. Dyno isn't everything. What we do here is we dial in our kits the way that we dial them in. We take them out, we field test them. And I'm telling you right now, I could put a kit together and take it out on that street and do launches 0 to 60, and it's performing great, dude. Awesome. Let's say I get 0 to 60 in 3 seconds instead of 20 seconds. Let's say I got it that good. It's performing great. Now I'm going to take that same machine, same tires. Let's say I was using 30s, and I take it out in the trails and I hit the mud. Now it's going to bog down in the mud. It's not holding the RPM in the mud. It's not, once I get halfway up the hill, it starts falling on its face. It doesn't want to pull anymore. You feel it falling. Well, that's because I designed a clutch for drag racing, not mudding, not hill climbing. It is all different. Everything is different. You cannot take a race clutch and put it in the woods, and you cannot take a woods clutch and put it on the racetrack. You can. The outcome you may not like, though. That's the thing. You can do it, yes. Are you going to like it? Most likely not. So that's why we make all these different clutch parts and have different clutch parts made. Every single spring here on the table is a different spring. Every single helix except for these 3 down here. These are stock helix. But all the other helixes are the same. This one is a competitor's helix that we went over and showed the spring binding that is caused on it, where ours does not do the spring binding in the secondary. Check that video out. I'll have it linked at the end of this video for you. But I just wanted to take this moment and go over different clutching. So let's say you're a mud rider. I might send you a spring that looks like this. And I might send you, I don't know what helix this is, but this is our SRM3. Maybe I might send you that helix. Maybe I might send you this SRM2. Maybe I might send you this helix. It all depends upon what you're doing. Because I took the time, I did the research on every machine we offer a clutch kit for. I ran that machine. I got a lot of it on video, some of it not so much, but a lot of it is on video. And I took the time and I tested all these different springs, all these different helixes, weight combinations, spring combinations. We make our own springs. This is one of our springs. This is one of our springs. We make our own springs for us, by us. You can't get them anywhere else but us. We take the time, and I'll be honest with you, when we make springs, we have to pop out about 500 every time I want to test a spring, or it's a bunch of money. It ends up being cheaper to have them make 500 springs. So, believe it or not, I have boxes and boxes and boxes of springs that did not make it to the market. That's all in testing. That's what happens. It's a loss. It's written off as a loss, and that is what happens when you're in testing different things that work or don't work. You find things that do good. You find things that don't do good. This spring here, where's it at? This spring here. This spring here. This is a spring that we had made, and guess what? It's not painted. That's how I know it's our prototype spring, because I didn't paint it. It's a prototype spring. We didn't color code it. That spring there did not perform very well. We had to make about 6 changes to it. So with making 6 changes, we had to buy 500 times 6. That's a lot of money. So now you guys know why clutch kits cost a lot of money, because when you're testing and you have to buy 400 or 500 springs, sometimes not that much, but it's a lot most of the time, you have to buy those. So we don't have them painted. We test them, we send them off to different people, have them tested. And if they don't make it, they don't get to the website for sale. So I have a ton of springs sitting around here that I'm thinking about making Christmas tree ornaments with for you guys. But that is where the prices of the clutch kits come from. You get a lot of people that say, DIY, you can do it cheaper. You can do it cheaper. Well, what we do is DIY. We are doing it ourselves, and it's not cheaper in the long run, because you have to buy 3, 4, 5 different springs, 3, 4, 5 different weights, all to figure out what works. We already did the figuring out for you, so we already know what works and what's going to work for your specific setup. And one thing I wanted to talk about is racing. People say X race people use X clutch kits, okay? No. Listen, I used to race. Let's say said company sells this, and this. for a race guy, okay? You don't want that. You know why you don't want that? Because that is going to put absolute max power, max torque, everything. And that is going to be a belt eater. Well, we have other, clutch builders on the market that have lots of belt eating clutches, clutch kits. But we're not here for that. You put that together, you do not want to run what a racer runs. For one, it's not going to be smooth. The machine is going to be very, very jerky and touchy because it's power, power, power. They want power on demand. The average trail rider does not. The average trail rider wants smooth power delivery. They want more power, but they don't want it to jerk their neck off into the back seat while they're getting it. That's where we come in. We have springs that are designed to be smooth, deliver the best power, give you the best product. All of our stuff is made here in the States. It's not overseas. So when you buy from us, you're supporting us as a local business, a small business, but you're also supporting other small businesses because we have other small businesses that make our springs for us with their machine shop, okay? So we do sub this out. It's not made in-house, but it is our specs and it is tested by us. And then we give them the go on what spring to do or make for us or whatever. You're supporting small business, so that also adds to the cost. We don't spend money on our clutch kits overseas. We nothing wrong with that, but we like to feed American pockets around here. So when you support us, you support America. I don't really know what else to go over other than, all the stuff that people say on the internet. We see it all over the place that, hey man, the race guys use this, the race guys use this, you want this. Not everybody wants to race. If you want to race, I do got a kit for you. But I'm going to be honest with you. For every 50 kits we sell, we might sell one race setup, okay? So race setups are not popular. They are a thing. Don't get me wrong. We do sell them. But they're not popular. It's not what the average everyday Joe wants. And you guys see my videos. You see how smooth my clutch kits are. You see how much power that they deliver and how smooth they do it delivering it. And you see, people on the internet saying, if you want power, you can't have smooth. It's simply not true. Just because you don't know how to do it doesn't mean I don't know how to do it. I do know how to do it, and we have done it. And we sold over 41,000 clutch kits doing it. So, and we have probably 41,000 happy people. I haven't gotten a call from an unhappy person. Not that I remember, but if I do, we're going to take care of you. We're going to make it right with you. Our customer service is top notch. It's the best in the business. It's the absolute best. But don't jump into the marketing mumbo jumbo and hype. Don't do it. If you call us, and that's another thing we see a lot of. We've even did some test calls ourselves, call other clutch companies, and we tell them we're running stock tires. We do a little bit of mud riding and trail riding, and then they tell us that we need this stage 3 kit. We need this helix. We need the secondary spring. We need the primary kit, and we need all this stuff. And I'm thinking to myself, wait a minute, if that was my customer, he would probably just need a primary kit. He wouldn't need all the extra stuff. So the only thing we've learned over the years is that we're not salesmen because we're leaving a lot of money on the table by not overselling you stuff that you don't need, which is fine because I still got lights above my head and a roof over my business, and it works for us, and we don't have to oversell you. Other companies, they overmarket, they oversell. No company is ever going to undersell you. If they could sell you wiper blades for a car, or a side-by-side you ain't even got a windshield for, they're going to do it. They're going to do it. So just be careful out there. Don't spend more money than what you absolutely need to spend money on. Call us. Let us figure out what riding style you do, what tire size you do, all of that stuff, and then we're going to decipher if you even need a helix, a secondary spring. Majority of people, they don't. But a lot of people, they do. It just depends upon what you want. If you go with bigger tires, Sometimes you need a helix, sometimes you don't. It depends upon the tire size and your riding style and what you're using it for. Give us a call for all of your clutch needs, 330-806-0728. Check out our website, www.rngperformance.net, and we'll be able to set you up with everything, literally everything that you need. We can do it. We will do it. And we'll save you money if we can. We're not salesmen. I always tell my staff, we are not salesmen. We listen to the customer, pay attention to the customer, and see exactly what they need. And later on, keep in mind, if you order a primary kit from us today, and then next year you decide, oh man, I'm going to get rid of these stock 27s, 26s, I'm going to go with 30s. Call us, because you won't have to buy another primary kit. The way we design our clutch kits, they're not designed in stages. They're designed for you, right? So we sell you a primary kit. We'll be able to sell you a helix later on to accommodate your bigger tires. So saving you money today and tomorrow. That's what we do here at R.N.G Performance. I hope this video helps you out. Peace out. God bless. Hit that like, share, and subscribe button. And we'll see you in the next one.